his spare bike and get out for another lap. He's still in second place, but was he just caught out there by perhaps a cooling front tyre?
Well, he's just entering pit lane, so depending how fast he can now sprint the team, it looks like they're just popping that rear tyre in, so they might just coincide.
Maybe just dropped a bit too much temperature out of that front tyre with a fresh rear tyre. Was that just pushing a bit? I doubt it, because he wasn't pushing. That's the thing. Andrea Iannone was just on an outlap. He was about to start his attack to try and stop Jorge Lorenzo from taking pole position. So Andrea Iannone now will be facing a fairly anxious 3 minutes to see if he can hold on to that place on the front row of the grid. It would be his first front row actually since Phillip Island last October.
Iannone's going to make it. They've just wheeled his bike out. They're just starting it up, and he's going straight from a sprint onto the bike.
Like Marc Marquez in Texas, this isn't it? Can he produce the same sort of result? Well done, Andrea Iannone. He's going to do it.
Well, his adrenaline's got to be massively high now, so you never know.
Yeah, especially his. But it's pretty hot out there. You know, he's run a fair old distance in full racing kit. It's not an easy challenge. Now he's got to get the heart rate down as well to sort of get back into attack mode. Doesn't want to go too slow, because that might have been the problem anyway. No, there's so many scenarios you don't know. There's Pol Espargaro again on a decent lap. Could he put that Tech 3 Yamaha on the front row of the grid? It would be superb performance in this great season. And he's there. He's done it as we stand at the moment. A 1:32.663 for Pol Espargaro. He's only qualified once on the front row of the grid before in MotoGP, Pol Espargaro. That was here in Le Mans 2 years ago. Here's a man who knows what it takes to get a front row start in France. It's Andrea Dovizioso. Dovizioso's in the front row. There you go. He pushes Pol Espargaro out of the top three. Dovizioso then a 1:32.587. He's back on the front row of the grid in Le Mans. We ride with Jorge Lorenzo, preparing for one big final last lap. A really big explosion lap coming up. This is Bradley Smith's on a decent lap as well. Did he find himself on the first two rows of the grid, running in 8th place at the moment, coming into the blue S's. Took his first ever podium finish here in 2007. Crossing the line now. 5th place for Bradley Smith. Brilliant job by Bradley Smith. That will be by far his best qualifying performance of the season so far. His previous best, a couple of 11th places in Qatar and in Texas. Has Lorenzo made a bit of a mistake down at the garage there corner? He has, you know. Yeah, well, Lorenzo, that's pretty uncharacteristic by Jorge Lorenzo. Just got in a fraction too hot. The same mistake that Marc Marquez made a couple of minutes ago. Vinales on 8th. Go back with Jorge Lorenzo and say a rare mistake. Well, you don't need to see that. It says mainly on the back, and you see the scuff marks where he crashed out coming into the blue S's on Andrea Iannone. But he's still in the middle of that front row of the grid. It's two Ducatis and it's a Yamaha that still leads the way with Jorge Lorenzo. Can anybody do anything about it? Because Lorenzo is on the charge at the front once again with half a minute to go. Marquez down in 7th place at the moment. He's on a personal best lap again. This sort of big wheelie under acceleration as he held the Honda out of the Shimano-Berth chicane. That's been the issue for the Honda all weekend. Lack of acceleration out of these low gear hairpins. Marquez, as Lorenzo looks to push to secure that pole position for the first time here in Le Mans. What about Marquez? Can he rescue this 7th place? He's out of the final corner now. Marquez crosses the line now. 2nd place is on the front row. Can he set the fastest lap ever around here? A 1:31.975. The first rider ever into the 1:31. Jorge Lorenzo in pole position and the fastest man ever around the Bugatti circuit. But Andrea Dovizioso still, no, we just look at his second sector time. If I had something to say about that. Supreme stuff from Jorge Lorenzo. Now Iannone, can he stay on that front row of the grid? Looks like he will do. It depends on Andrea Dovizioso, who's 0.2 of a second outside of the best place for the second sector. Iannone at the moment on the front row of the grid. That's where he's going to stay because Andrea Dovizioso's lost another chunk of time. Disappointing session for Valentino Rossi. He's down in 7th place. Pol Espargaro just misses out on his 2nd front row. That's what he thinks about that. He's just looked at the big screen and seen himself in 4th place.
still gives everybody a wave. Another four.
Petrucci.
Yeah, Danilo Petrucci. Looks like that. You look straight away to the right hand, don't you? Looks like it's okay. Stomps away Danilo Petrucci. Yeah, Petrucci will start from the 10th place, so that will be a 4th place start. Can anybody do anything about what has happened out there at the moment? Certainly nobody is going to challenge Jorge Lorenzo.
Yeah, majestic lap by Jorge Lorenzo. Let's not forget the previous lap. He'd run off the track at the garage bear corner. Marc Marquez did a great salvage job at the end of that session because he was as low as 7th place before his final lap. He got in a 1:32.416. But it's this man here, as Nick said, the first ever 1:31 lap we've ever seen at the Bugatti circuit in Le Mans. The first time in his MotoGP career he's taken a pole position here. Lorenzo's the man in Le Mans, no doubt about that.
There you go, 1:32.042 set 2 years ago by Marc Marquez, eclipsed by Jorge Lorenzo, a 1:31.975. He means business this weekend, Jorge Lorenzo. Big business. He's a 4 times winner here in the MotoGP class. He won here last year, and he has looked superb all weekend. The only time he's been headed was by Andrea Iannone in that 3rd practice session.
Tell you who will be a mighty relieved man is Andrea Iannone, because he did hold on to a place on the front row of the grid despite that outlap crash at turn number 3. Then Jarvis heading down to Parc Fermé to congratulate Jorge Lorenzo on what will be his 63rd pole position. Double check those stats. 63rd career pole for Jorge Lorenzo. It's 37th in the Premier class. The first time he's ever done that in Le Mans, and it edges him clear of his teammate Valentino Rossi, who took his 62nd pole position a couple of weeks ago in Jerez. He's only relieved, I would imagine Rossi frustrated down in 7th place.
Their 3rd row start for Valentino Rossi. They want to be with Lorenzo was such a great form. And Marquez coming in there at the end as well, popping onto the front row of the grid. A very good practice start. Don't want too many of those, really, do you? Well, Lorenzo, we don't want that to happen when they come along. Team talk to Andrea Iannone did a really good job in the end to hang on to that place on the front row of the grid. Lorenzo, Marquez, Iannone, so not Lorenzo, Marquez and Rossi on the front row. That's unusual this season, isn't it?
Yeah, the maniac turned it into a bit of a manic session for himself, didn't he, really? There's Valentino Rossi, who can't be happy. Looked like he'd really got his qualifying gremlin sorted out this year. He'd have 3 successive front row starts, so 7th place for Rossi, in fact, is his worst qualifying performance of the season. You can tell how frustrated Rossi is. The first time this season he started off the first 2 rows.
Because Jorge Lorenzo, his first ever pole position, MotoGP pole position in Le Mans, and the first ever 1:31 lap at the Bugatti circuit on 2 wheels. A 1:31.975 for Jorge Lorenzo. Sorry, 976 for Jorge Lorenzo.
Yeah, his first pole position since the opening round of the championship at the Losail International Circuit in Qatar. We all know what happened there. He went on to win the race. He was 0.4 of a second quicker than Marc Marquez, who at least does find himself back on the front row of the grid for the 5th successive race. Andrea Iannone, that's his first front row start in MotoGP since that dramatic Australian Grand Prix at Phillip Island last October.
Interesting second row, great second row for the Tech 3 team at their home Grand Prix, because Paul Espargaro 4th fastest. Then we have Andrea Dovizioso off the front row for the first time at Le Mans in 6 years, and Bradley Smith completing that second row in 6th place.
Yeah, Paul Espargaro by far his best qualifying performance of the season, beating his previous best, which was an 8th place last time out in Jerez. Bradley Smith, as Nick said, kudos to the British rider up there in 6th place, because qualifying has not been his forte at all this season. In fact, Bradley Smith's best was a disappointing 11th place at the opening round in Qatar.
Interesting 3rd row, isn't it? Rossi will be desperately disappointed. Maverick Vinales will not be happy. Cal Crutchlow, well, 3rd row is not the end of the world for him.
There you can see that predicted race pace from Lorenzo. 1:33.5, based on his average pace in that fourth practice session. So you can just see how much more the riders can find in those 15-minute qualifying sessions. Race pace is estimated, predicted race pace around 1.6 seconds off qualifying pace.
So Qualifikasi once again will be the top independent rider in qualifying. Absolutely two superb qualifying sessions. Qualifying 2 as good as you can get, and fastest ever lap around this Bugatti circuit. Andrea Dovizioso off the front row for the first time for 6 races here at Le Mans.
I think he'll still be pretty happy with
fifth
place.
Yeah, absolutely. Middle of that second row of the grid. Got his teammate Hattie on the front row of the grid. But now making the headlines will be number 99, Poi Lorenzo. Fastest ever lap around the Bugatti circuit on 2 wheels. Could you believe it? His first ever pole position.
I think I'm very happy now with this record of the track and this pole position, because we worked very hard to improve all the small details in all the corners. So finally the bike was able to keep a constant pace and also ready to make very fast lap time. So happy with the work, happy with the record of the track. Let's see tomorrow of a long race. As always, the important thing is to keep a constant pace. Don't get so much tired and be ready in the last laps.
Thank you very much, Jorge.